In terms of health, there is a major chronic problem, and that is of parasite prevalence. It's been estimated by our colleagues in the World Health Organization that possibly as high as a quarter of all humankind is carrying a burden of intestinal parasites as a direct result of inadequate sanitation.
Del Agua portable water quality testing kits have helped save millions of lives in over 130 countries around the world. The kit was first developed in a collaboration between Oxfam and a team at Surrey University, headed by Barry Lloyd.
The beauty of the Del Agua kit is that if you've got electricity which isn't on all the time, you can charge your battery, take it out to the field, do the test in the field, or at least charge up the incubator so that you can come back and do the test, and it's extremely robust.
In 2006, Del Agua Water Testing Limited became a successful spin-out from the university.
We have stood the test of time. We've been going 25 years. We have kits that are still in the field that were bought over 20 years ago and still being used. And we are committed to making sure that quality, that high level quality level stays.
In Bangladesh, 56 million people live in poverty. 35 million of those in extreme poverty. This number is increasing and is likely to do so well beyond 2010. Over 30 years of action research focused on reducing poverty has established the Centre for Development Studies at Bath University, being recognised as the Centre for Expertise on Bangladesh within the UK. One of the early projects initiated by Professor Jeff Wood and colleagues was aimed at providing economic empowerment to the extremely poor by providing them with irrigation equipment which could be used to provide water to local farmers.
And I felt that we had an opportunity here to introduce opportunities for groups of landless men, sometimes women, to buy these pump sets, sink a boring in negotiation with a group of farmers who all had small handkerchief plots and couldn't cultivate them very easily on their own, and to provide water services to those farmers. So I really devised that idea in 1980, and then subsequently other NGOs have picked this idea up. It's a private sector solution for the poor entering into those sorts of markets, and at various times we've had up to 6,000 of these companies operating.
But what areas are being addressed in the latest research into extreme poverty?
I think for us at the moment there is a task about helping people immediately survive, but there's also a task about making sure that we get back to other players to say that we've found ways of making significant improvements quite quickly. Why can't you support that and dedicate resources to it?
Also, building on the centre's experience in Bangladesh, a new grant has been issued in collaboration with Haraweli International to help support households suffering extreme poverty.
This is a massive slide for Great Britain and Amy Williams. Oh my goodness!
Amy Williams' skeleton bob gold medal at the 2010 Winter Games was achieved with the help of Rachel Blackburn and James Roach, both engineering doctorate students at Southampton University School of Engineering.
Having spent some time rig testing and track testing and really looking in depth as to how and why the components of existing sleds were working as they were, we found lots of things we wanted to change, so we ended up starting from scratch and redesigning the whole sled and producing them.
Sort of long history in Southampton of being involved in performance sport. There's a whole range of Southampton graduates in the Formula One world. Pretty much every team in F1 has Southampton graduates in a key role there, likewise the America's Cup. So we have this culture of high performance sport making, where you're looking for very small margins in the actual competition, make the difference between winning and losing. And that mindset, that technology, tools that we use could then be applied across to help UK sport.
The Sports Performance Lab has also provided research and expertise to the British cycling team, who won 7 gold medals in Beijing.
We're such a small nation, especially when it comes to winter sports, that if we can be up there in one or two sports, then it's really, really exciting.
Off-pump beating heart surgery now accounts for 15 to 20% of all coronary bypass grafting surgery worldwide. As our population ages, and with smoking and high cholesterol diets still prevalent, the need for this kind of procedure is increasing.
The simple point about this surgery is that it has to be done in a safe way, keeping the patient heart ongoing so that enough blood pressure can be developed while working on the heart. And really surgical tools have been developed over the time to be able to position the heart and stabilize that small part of it where the bypass graft was being done.
What we have obtained with the beating heart technique is we got rid of the machine, and effectively the surgery is performed when the heart is supporting the patient and the circulation. And the idea behind it is that the machine is not all that natural, all that physiological, and if we can avoid the machine, we know that we can reduce a significant number of potential morbidity associated with the surgery in general.
The technique was developed at the Bristol Heart Institute.
The Bristol Heart Institute was established in 1995 from a small group of basic scientists and clinicians with the specific aim to do what is nowadays fashionably called translation medicine. Effectively, we wanted to use basic science to understand clinical problem and possibly find solution to then take back into everyday clinical practice.
Dr. James Bilson has spent the last 10 years working with the British Army to establish the impact of injuries sustained during basic training.
When we started looking at this problem, almost 100 females per 1,000 trainees would be medically discharged. But even on the male side who were at less risk, there were still 25 per 1,000 each year being medically discharged. And when you're talking about training 15,000 personnel per year, that's a lot of wastage.
Good examples of how research is pulled through to improve training policy includes single-sex training, and I think this is a significant impact, and I suspect we are the only army worldwide who've got single-sex training in this manner. And that's because gender is one of the biggest risk factors for injury. Women are more susceptible than men to sustaining injury, and this is widely known. This is not just unique to the UK. And because of that greatest risk, the best way to manage that is to train women in single-sex platoons during initial training. We like to pull through technology and obviously the academic research that otherwise the MOD doesn't have direct access to internally. So we like to gear and to work with universities to make sure that we harness the best technology and the best information.
Last 10 metres.
The university sector in the UK is in fact extremely good at working with industry. There are some 2,900 companies who are working collaboratively with the research that the research councils are currently funding.
The Department of Mechanical Engineering at the University of Bath has enjoyed a 25-year relationship with the Ford Motor Company and more recently with BP. For the last 10 years, the partnership has focused on fuel economy and cutting CO2 emissions.
Working with the universities helps you to question things you take for granted. I think that's a great strength.
This collaboration has resulted in improvements across Ford's entire range of cars and vans. This allows the company to offer several A-rated models, producing less than 100 grams of CO2 per kilometre.
Developing, maintaining and sustaining links with industry is part of our core business. We need that engagement with industry We need to know that what we are doing within our curriculum and within our research is directly benefiting both our products, which is our students, and also our research, which is fed into industry as well.
These developments have resulted in an 8% improvement in engine efficiency, leading to better fuel economy and a potential reduction of 6 million tonnes of CO2 being released into the atmosphere.
The research lives on in the form of technical publications, yeah, that's great. But to see it out there in vehicles being used every day is I think, a really exciting outcome.
Looking to the future, I think there is a clear benefit in creating strong partnerships between universities. I believe the SETsquared partnership is a very good illustration of how a consortium of universities can work together effectively.
Rebalancing the UK economy will require new industries and new people and new ideas, new technologies to be deployed in those new industries. And we're very well positioned to do that.